Traveling to Consciousness, exploring spiritual journeys to find answers in uncertainty.
So, conscious leadership. Why is conscious leadership so important at this time in the world? We have spent so much time with organizations and institutions guiding the way forward that we should all do. The most typical path that I've seen, the most common that people are exposed to, is go to high school, go to college, get a job, retire at 60, and then live the last 15, 20 years of your life doing whatever it is you wish to do. And I know that's a sweeping generalization, but now even this way of life has become threatened. Even that structure has failed. You have to look no farther than the current millennials and maybe half of the millennials, but certainly Gen Zers. Considering I'm on the cusp and right in between the two, I'm experiencing it myself. And I can certainly see everyone younger than me, and many people, even just a few years older than me, have experienced that that's not even a sustainable way of life anymore. I've seen videos after videos of how this most simplistic and basic function of what used to be deemed the American way is completely threatened. It's no longer feasible. And this is why we need conscious leaders at this time. And what do I even mean by that? Well, I suppose when I use the word conscious, it deeply reminds me of spirituality. Another greatly loaded word. I see spirituality having almost a Venn diagram in which it shares with religion, where we could say their commonalities, which are very important, involve a searching for meaning, which is what is plaguing. A lack of meaning is plaguing society, plaguing the American way for sure. And other commonalities involve a connection to divinity, to God, to spirit, to source, to nature. Whatever that thing is that connects all of us, and not just humans, but every living thing, every atom, the thing that keeps every atom in a dance with each other. And on top of that, it seems to give us a moral and ethical compass to guide us in our way. And that's certainly what I see in the middle of the Venn diagram when it comes to spirituality and religion. But now, whenever we introduce being conscious, to me that falls a little bit more into the spirituality spectrum, the spirituality side of things. And what do I mean by that? Well, one of the big differences is that I see religion as being a bit more structured. Religion is usually a system of their beliefs, their practices, their rituals, within a formal institution, usually brick and mortar, if you will, let's say a church, a temple, synagogue, mosque. They usually have defined beliefs, and everyone tends to fall on agreeing with 90% of them, let's say. It almost provides an objective framework that sets guidelines and rules for everyone to follow. But then you run into the two, I guess, issues. One is the dogmatic elements that tend to pop up when, whether it's science or experience, contradict the teachings that come within the organized structure that is the religion. And it becomes authoritative. It becomes lecturing. It becomes oppressive in many ways. And that's what I was seeing in this old way of life. The get to college, get a good job, retire, save up for retirement, retire, and enjoy your last 4 years. To me, there is a very strong correlation there. And this is why we need to shift into what I call spirituality, which involves a more interpersonal connection to the divine, as opposed to being told what it is. It allows you space to update your beliefs, but yet doesn't force you into any one belief. And the most powerful thing about it is the experience. Because when one experiences something, it's impossible to take that away from them. No matter what books you read, no matter what somebody tells you, no matter the circumstance, you will always have that foundation of experience that you know to be real. And an interesting dichotomy occurs here, where religion can fall to become too structured and too rigid. Spirituality can float off and be a little too airy and whimsical. So there is a need for the individual to find that grounded nature within themselves when exploring spirituality. I know that I've gone through that myself. The first 25-ish years of my life being super rigid and having this pendulum swing inside me to become more floaty and airy. But the beauty is finding a way to bring that pendulum back into the middle, creating a system within oneself that has structure from experience and knowing, and the open-mindedness to be able to explore and hear new things, new ideas, other people's experiences. And so when we get back to being conscious, one who is conscious has gone on this inner journey of finding that balance between the structure and the floatiness. And I can definitely say that it's a balance that I'm still trying to find. But the beauty is that the pendulum doesn't swing as far or as rapidly as it used to. So why is conscious leadership so important at this time? Well, if you look at the structure of society right now, of America, the foundation is crumbling. The people who are in charge, who are supposed to be leading this country, are not leading it a direction that the people of this country want it to go. And when you have a rocky foundation, it's going to lead to a rocky outcome. And so we need people in positions of leadership who have gone through that rockiness inside themselves and in their life, who have done the inner work or have gone at least on that inner journey to know that they're not perfect, but they have a degree of experience to know that the direction we're going is not pretty. And so we need to redirect course sooner than later. And being a conscious leader means so much more than this as well. It means holding a degree of empathy for other people. Understanding when it's time to be strong and courageous and forceful. But having a measure of being empathetic and caring. Not only to those who may be disenfranchised or to those who may be looked over, but even to those who are on the wrong path, who are taking this country a different way. Because I know there's a lot of division in this country and within ourselves, quite frankly, and across the world. But I do see that it seems to be dissipating. It seems to be washing away. We have to come together. We can no longer sit and point the finger that it's the Democrats' fault or the Republicans. It's Russia or it's Israel. We have to realize and think of this from the standpoint of the common person. And find a way to give each individual person the ability to pursue freedom and peace and a prosperous life. Because as the world stands, as I look at the political landscape, as I go deeper and deeper into my own personal research, I do not see the motivation of, quite frankly, almost any world leader towards peace. There are moments, I will give them that. There are some, but the glimpses are rare. They can't be the minority in our leadership positions. They have to be the majority. They have to be the majority. Because right now, the options that we have available are only going to fragment us more. Only going to pull us apart more. And for people to see this, I hope it's not true, but for people to see this, maybe things might have to get worse. I know I'm going to do everything in my ability, in my power, in my responsibility to start making things better now. And I can do that on a local scale, and hopefully I am. But I can't do it alone. I know there are more of you out there. I know there are more people out there who can do it, who can take up the challenge. Because it will take work. Don't kid yourself, and hopefully I'm not coming across to kid you. It's not going to be easy. But it will be worth it. It will be worth every second of it. Because to leave the world a better place than which you found it, that's everything. I know that I've even been doing this practice daily of when I walk into a room and proving one thing about it. It's so simple, but if you don't always do it, it can be quite difficult. And so we need people who are, or who have gone on that inward journey, who have questioned the workings of society, to come up with ideas, to replace these old ideas that have put us in the situation we are today. Homelessness on the rise, cost of living on the rise, inflation on the rise, unemployment on the rise. The policies that are being put in place at a state level, at a federal level, at a global level are not supporting the individual. And so this is where everyone's responsibility comes in. Because it's going to take a lot more than just me. So let's see what happens. Let's see. Do you feel like you're ready to answer that call? And maybe you're sitting there thinking, I'm not ready. It's not my turn. Nobody's ever ready. Usually it takes the right person in the right time, in the right place. And chances are, you are the right person in that right place at this right time. You just have to say yes and make that one step forward. So, I want to make sure that you make that one step forward. Because the thing is, if you don't make that step forward in this dimension, we're going to have a talk about it whenever I see you in the 6th dimension.